Hello everyone and welcome to another random bits and pieces segment from my brain, and today, sit a while for we are playing some more Franchise Hockey Manager 6 as part of the Ottawa Senators. Alrighty, so I have decided on who my team is going to be to start the season. There are a few surprises. There's a surprise in net and a few surprises up front mostly. So that's pretty much where we're gonna see new faces. So let's take a look at who made the team out of camp, at least right now. Alright, so in net we're gonna keep Brian Elliott, but I decided to keep Robin Lehner over Antiniemi. So we're gonna see if Lehner can develop a little bit with some NHL time. He's 22. I think he's ready to do that. Now on D, we of course have Zdeno Chara, Alex Pietrangelo, Patrick Werkach, Jared Cowan might be a little bit of a surprise. He had a good camp and he's now a 2-star player. Now I know in real life it didn't turn out all that great for Jared Cowan with the Sens, but this is a sim, so he might be actually pretty decent. Who knows? And then Drew Doughty, Eric Carlson, and Roman Josi. So not a lot of surprises on D. I kind of like the D. There's a good mix of defensive defensemen and puck movers. That's how I like my D. I don't like to have only one type of defenseman. Then up front, there should be at least a few surprises for sure. So Pavel Datsyuk, Brooks Laich, Braden Shen, no surprises there. Patrice Bergeron, not a surprise. Mark Scheifele made the team. Mika Zibanejad made the team. David Leguan, probably not a huge surprise there. Zach Smith is there. Shane Prince had a good camp, so I decided to keep him, even if he's only a 1-star. Might develop better in the NHL. Nino Niederreiter is now 21, and he made the team. Nikita Filatov is back in the NHL. He played for us for a little bit. Got in the minors for a couple years, and now he's back. Jason Spezza, not a surprise. Alexander Radulov, not a surprise. And at this point, Jacob Silverberg, not a surprise either. So yeah, we're a lot younger. I shed a lot of older players. Of course, I still have a few veterans on the team and everything, but a lot of players are like 20, 21, 23 years old. So that's going to be kind of interesting there to see if we can hold our own with a little bit of a younger team. And I also have some room for my contracts so that I can pick up waivers or something like that, which that hasn't happened in a while. So we'll see if I'm able to do something with that free space. Alright, so yeah, among the players that are going to need to clear waivers, Sam Gagner didn't make the team. Antiniemi, Patrick Maroon, Eric Greiba, and Andrew Hammond. Alright, and those are all the players that are being put on waivers right now. So let's go ahead and see if somebody should be picked up by me. Probably not. Oh, Tomas Tatar is there. Do I want to pick up Thomas Tatar? TJ Brody. David Savard. Marc-Edouard Vlasic. Looks like he didn't really develop right. He's still only a 1-star player. I think I'm gonna go ahead and claim TJ Brody. That leaves me with only one spot on my 4 contracts, but I'm a little thin on D-Depth, and TJ Brody should be a decent defenseman to have in my system. So I'm going to pick him up. Alright. So with the National Hockey League season about to get underway, the early Stanley Cup favorites appear to be Chicago. Oh, we're not the favorites to win the cup anymore. Led by winger Patrick Kane, general manager Jim Benning has built a squad that will be the team to beat this year, but he can expect challenges from Jesse Bonham's Ottawa Senators and Washington, featuring goalie Tuukka Rask. Among the dark horses, Montreal stands out as a possible challenger with a big season by Carey Price, capable of pushing them into contender status. The scoring race will likely see Pittsburgh's Sidney Crosby challenged by Joe Pavelski of San Jose and Chicago's Patrick Kane. The top defenseman in the league is generally considered to be Ottawa Senators blue liner Erik Karlsson, with Chicago's Duncan Keith and Ryan McDonough of Montreal also in the running. Finally, among goaltenders, Montreal's Carey Price stands out as the league's best, while Washington Capitals netminder Tuukka Rask and Braden Holtby of Washington as well can also steal games for their teams. Yeah, TJ Brodie wants number 7, and he's gonna get number 7. Now, with that acquisition, do I keep him up? Who would I send down? Yeah, I'm gonna send down Patrick Werkach. There you go. And I'm gonna give TJ Brodie a shot. If he doesn't do it for me, I'll just flip-flop players. Alright, so in 2 days, the regular season is gonna be underway. Alright. Okay, Nikita Filatov would like number 28. Yes, I agree. You can have it. There you go. Alright, and the season will be underway today, as we are going to be in Nashville. Alright, in Nashville to start the season. So, of course, we have not played them this season. We are going to take a look at their lineup. Vernon Fiddler is hurt for Nashville. He's not going to be playing this game. Ooh, there's quite a few alpha star players on that lineup. So Pekka Rinne and Scott Darling in net. They've had that combo for a while, so that's pretty solid. No problem there. Kevin Klein, Matthias Ekholm, Ryan Ellis, Seth Jones, Ryan Suter, Shea Weber, and Marek Zidlicki on D. That's pretty rock solid. Scott Hartnell, Jared Smithson, Mikhail Grigorenko, Tyler Seguin, Friesen, Spalling, Watson, Lata, Kigorodov, Erat, Gordon, Ornquist, Bork, and Moser up front. So really good goaltending, really good defense. The offense is pretty much all one line. Alright, so, well, let's see if we can beat them. See if we can beat their really good defense and goaltender. So to start the season, it looks like our lines are going to be Bergeron with Spezza and Datsyuk, then Scheifele with Radulov and Laik, Zibanejad with Silverberg and Braden Shen, and Zach Smith with Nikita Filatov and David Legwan. On D, I have Erik Karlsson, that's still hurt, so we have Pietrangelo with Doughty, Shara with Cowan, and TJ Brodie with Roman Josi. And in net, we're going to go with Brian Elliott, and they are going to go with Pekka Rinne. And we won to start the season, 5-2, and I forgot to say my Go Sens Go, so that's a string of luck right there. So we outshot Nashville 39-29 in that game. Pavel Datsyuk was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Patrice Bergeron was the second star with a goal and an assist, and Drew Doughty was the third star with an assist. Let's see. Well, a lot of goals in the first period. So Nashville scored first, and then about 3 minutes later, Pavel Datsyuk tied the game from Patrice Bergeron and Alex Pietrangelo. Then Nashville took the lead back, and then we tied it again with Roman Josi scoring from Zach Smith and Nikita Filatov, and then Patrice Bergeron scored from Pavel Datsyuk and Jason Spezza, and it was 3-2 Sens after 1. And there were no penalties in the first. Then in the second period, Brooks Laik scored from Jared Cowan and Mark Scheifele. It was 4-2 Sens after 2. And then, with a little bit more than 5 minutes to go in the third period, Braden Shunt scored from Drew Doughty and Pavel Datsyuk, made it 5-2 Sens, and that's how this game ended. Pretty good start to the season, I like it. Oh, and in that game, Jason Spezza recorded 900 points in his career, so he got an assist. So Jason Spezza, 900 points, 30 years old, and still a 4-star player, so still a few good years ahead of him. Alright, and now we're going to head to Tampa Bay to play against the Lightning in a couple days. We played them a couple times in preseason, but I'm still going to check their lineup. Maybe that changed a little since. Alright, so Tim Gleason and Brandon Prost are on waivers from Montreal. So former Ottawa Senator Tim Gleason. Brian Gionta is suspended in New Jersey. He's going to miss 4 games. Strong night for Yevgeny Malkin. He had a hat-trick against Anaheim. Patrick Kane's point streak ended at 19 games. It was held scoreless against Dallas. Alright, and Carlson's about to be back. Yes, Erik Karlsson on the edge of returning. That would be fantastic. Sensational. Alright, so in Tampa Bay to play the Lightning, and then we're going to play the Panthers afterwards. Alright, so Lightning still going with only 20 players on their roster. In net is going to be... Oh, see, they changed their goaltender. Tokarski is not there. Oh, maybe he's hurt. Yeah, he's hurt. Okay, that's why. So Dustin Tokarski is not going to play. He's hurt. And Vincent Lecavalier is also not going to be playing. He's recovered, but... he might need to stay on the injured reserve. So in net, it's going to be UC Renas and Vasily Koshechkin, Victor Edmond, Ty Wishart, Brett Skinner, Marc-Andre Bergeron, Yannick Weber, and Osa Vananen are on D. Past Edmond, it's still terrible. Andre Palat, Donna Tyrell, Torreson, Smolenak, Brown, Kucherov, Johnson, Perrin, Conacher, Connolly, Seshura, and Brad Richards up front. Not a very strong team in Tampa Bay. So Brian Elliott in net for us, and Koshechkin's going to be in net for Tampa Bay. And we won 5-2 again. Oh yeah, we outshot Tampa Bay 55-16 in that game. Zdeno Chara was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Jason Spezza was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Petrus Bergeron was the third star with also a goal and an assist. So Tampa Bay actually took a 2-0 lead into the first period, but we tied the game before the end of the first with 2 goals in 7 seconds. So Petrus Bergeron scored from Erik Karlsson and Drew Doughty, and then Jason Spezza from Zdeno Chara and Petrus Bergeron. It was tied at 2 after 1. Then in the second period, Alexander Radulov scored on the power play from Jason Spezza. It was 3-2 Sens after 2. Lots of penalties in the second period. And then in the third, Zdeno Chara from Nikita Filatov and Mika Zibanejad. And finally, Mark Scheifele from Pavel Datsyuk and Alexander Radulov. 5-2 was the final score. A lot of penalties in the third as well. Nicholas Backstrom has a strong game. He had 4 assists against Boston. Detroit Zetterberg to take 5 weeks to recover from a fractured ulna. Okay, so Zetterberg in Detroit is out for 5 weeks. That's not going to help them. That's going to help us because they are in our division now. Strong night for Bobby Ryan. Not playing for the Sens. He's still in Anaheim. I didn't trade for him. He had a hat-trick against the Wings in that same game. Jerome Iginla has achieved 1,200 points in his career. So Iginla is now in St. Louis. So I saw that he was a free agent, so it looks like he's going to continue his career with the Blues. So he got a goal against the Flames. 36 years old, Jerome McGinley, still a star and a half player. And Erik Karlsson is completely recovered. He did play last game. Clayton Stoner is available on waivers. I am not picking him up. And we are now about to play the Florida Panthers in Florida. Florida is 2-0. Just like us, they have 4 points and they are 5th in the East. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at their lineup. Oh, going with 20 there as well, huh? So Christian Uzelius is hurt, so he's not going to play this game. In net, it's Jacob Markstrom and Carter Hutton, so it's not too terrible, not too great. Jay Boomister, Carlo Koloyakovo, Jason Garrison, Eric Godbranson, Mike Koska, and Alex Petrovich on D. That's okay. It's not too terrible. Yevgeny Dadonov up front. Chris Kelly. Oh, Chris Kelly signed with the Panthers. Matt Molson, Jonathan Huberdeau, Greg Campbell, Ryan Kessler, Tatsisek Bustad, Barkov, Frolik, Horton, and Torres. So, yeah. Looks like a well-rounded team. So it might be difficult. We're going to go with Brian Elliott again. They're going to go with Carter Hutton. And we won 5-3. Right? We scored 15 goals in 3 games. That's pretty good. We outshot the Panthers 33-27. Pavel Datsyuk was the first star. He had 2 assists. Alex Petrovich was the second star with 2 assists. And Alex Pietrangelo was the third star with a goal and an assist. So Florida scored twice at the start of the first period to take a 2-0 lead, and then we scored 4 unanswered goals before the end of the period. So Jason Spezza scored from TJ Brody and Pavel Datsyuk, Eric Carlson from Brooks Lake and Alex Pietrangelo, Zach Smith from Zdeno Chara, and finally Jason Spezza from Pavel Datsyuk. 4-2 Sens after 1. There was a fight as well between Gregory Campbell and Zdeno Chara. Then in the second period, Alex Pietrangelo scored from Brooks Lake and Zach Smith. Made it 5-2 Sens after 2. And finally in the third period, Florida did score a goal. They were down 2, but they could never tie the game. And we won this 5-3, and we are still undefeated. Patrick Marleau has recorded a 1,000th game in his career. Didn't get a point to celebrate that, and that happened against the Ducks. Patrick Marleau, 34 years old, still 2.5-star player. And Andrei Markov also played in his 1,000th game for Montreal. That happened against Tampa Bay. Didn't get a point. 34 years old, Andrei Markov, 3-star player. Alright, so we are done with our road trip to start the season, and now we are headed home for a 4-game homestand. Oh, alright, so Marek Zidlicki with Nashville is hurt, and he's going to be gone for 6 months with a torn anterior cruciate ligament, a torn ACL, out for 6 months basically this season. No missed times for Chicago. Kevin Hayes playing in Chicago, not suspended. Alright, and the Colorado Avalanche are in town with Nathan McKinnon that got praises in preseason. So I guess we're going to have to watch him, huh? So the Avalanche is not doing too good. They are 1-3 so far this season. And let's take a look here and see. Right, so no injuries in Colorado. So they have Joey McDonald and Calvin Pickard in net. So not too great right now. Kyle Comiskey, Tyson Berry, Kevin Shattenkirk, Johnny Boychuk, Cameron Gons, Zabainik, McCulloch, and Stefan Elliott on D. Okay, Landeskog, Martinson, Verbato, Stewart, Darsh, Duchesne, McKinnon, Winchester, Lynchka, Malhotra, O'Reilly, Ensick, and Tage up front. Yeah, their goaltending is probably costing them some games. The rest of the team is not too bad. So Calvin Pickard is going to be in net for Colorado. We are going with Brian Elliott. And we won 4-2. First home game of the season is a victory. So we outshot Colorado 51-29. Mark Scheifele was the first of the game. He had 2 goals. Tyson Berry was the second star with an assist. And Erik Karlsson was the third star with a goal and an assist. 17,018 people in attendance for the first game of the season in Ottawa. And Erik Karlsson opened up the scoring in the first period from Alex Pietrangelo and Jason Spezza. And then Mark Scheifele from Jared Cowan and Alexander Radulov. But then Colorado scored before the end of the period, so it was 2-1 Sens after 1. There was a fight between Zdeno Chara and Chris Stewart as well. In the second period, Colorado tied the game, and it was tied at 2 after 2. But we scored late in the third period, so Mark Scheifele scored a game winner from Jared Cowan and Brooks Like, and then Alex Pietrangelo sealed the deal in an empty net from Patrice Bergeron and Erik Karlsson, and it was 4-2. The victory for the Sens. Alright, and another home game. This time we're going to play against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Alright, so Columbus is 2-1-1. And they are in the East now, so I have to check. They are 9th in the East with that record. Let's take a look at their lineup there. Alright, so I think we played them in preseason. So in net, it's Steve Mason and Frederick Anderson. On D, it's Justin Falk, Dan Amius, Mark Metot, John Moore, Yoni Pitkinen, Steve Montador, Kopechki, Nash, Lindstrom, Zardev, Barchi, Brassard, Filppula, Johansson, Stashny, Crab, Anzel, Sutter, Voracek, Atkinson, and Moziekian up front. Yeah, we did play them. Martin Anzel signed there. I remember now. It's a pretty decent team, very well-rounded team, not a lot of weaknesses, which is basically what I think I said when we faced them in the preseason, and I still stand by that statement. Alright, pretty tough team to play against. Steve Mason is going to be in net for them. We're going to go with Brian Elliott again. And we lost 2-1 in overtime. Alright, so first loss of the season. We still get a point, though. Actually, it was in the shootout. Oh, wow, we outshot Columbus 58-20. Jakub Voracek was the first star of the game. He had an assist. Drew Doughty was the second star with a goal. And Steve Mason was the third star with 57 saves. And the W, of course. 17,460 people in attendance for this game. Alright, so nobody scored in the first. Then in the second period, Columbus opened up the scoring, and then we tied the game about 9 minutes later. Drew Doughty scored from Jason Spezza and Alex Pietrangelo, and it was tied at 1 after 2. And then nobody scored in the third period, nobody scored in overtime, and then there was a lone scorer in the shootout. Jakub Voracek scored, and that was it. Alright, we lost. No perfect season for us this season. Oh, so they were talking about that at the end of last season. So Jack Capuano lost his job already in Buffalo. Buffalo is 3-3 to start the season. I guess they're not happy with that. And then their new coach is going to be Michel Therrien. Oh, Michel Therrien now the coach in Buffalo. Patrick Marleau has reached 300 goals in his career with a goal against Boston. 34 years old, Patrick Marleau, 2.5-star player still. Dustin Brown, playing in Buffalo now, is back from his suspension. Eric Gustafsson in Montreal is not suspended. Same for Jake Dowell in Montreal as well. Wow, Montreal paying out the league executives or something. 2 guys got looked at and nope, we're not going to suspend anybody. And Brian Giunta is back from his suspension in New Jersey. If you would have played for Montreal like you did in real life, you wouldn't have been suspended, apparently. And Zach Smith has a day-to-day injury, so it's okay. I'm not going to move him. And we have a rivalry with Toronto, who's going to be in town next in 3 days. Blake Como is on waivers. Playing in Montreal, huh? Oh, and now Tampa Bay is trying to pass UC Renus through waivers, so I guess Tokarski is back from injury. Brendan Peary has a memorable game in Chicago. He had a hat-trick against the Flyers. Zach Smith closer to returning. Alright, and Toronto is in town. They are 3-4, so that's good for 8 in the East right now. We have not played them yet. Let's take a look at their team. Well, many teams don't have the full 23 roster. So Jonas Gustafsson and James Reimer in net. That's pretty much what they've had in the past. Chris Tanev, Bruno Gervais, Sergei Gonchar, Matt Hunwick, Luke Shen, and Ian White, and Petteri Nummelen on the... Wow, Nummelen is 40 years old now. Okay, Brad Boyce, Steen, Santorelli, Toulouse, Kadri, Zajac, McCormick, Bork, Moss, Kulimin, Komarov, and Cole up front. Yeah, it's an average team. James Reimer is going to be in net for them. We are going with Brian Elliott. And we won 3-0. First shutout of the season for Brian Elliott. And we now have outshot Toronto 46-13. Excuse me. Eric Carlson was the first star of the game with 2 assists. Petrus Bergeron was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Pavel Datsyuk was the third star with 2 assists. 17,861 people in attendance for this game. So Jason Spezza opened up the scoring in the first from Pavel Datsyuk and Petrus Bergeron, and it was 1-0 Sens after 1. Then in the second period, Petrus Bergeron scored from Pavel Datsyuk and Eric Carlson. It was 2-0 Sens after 2. And then finally, all the way into the third period, Braden Chen scored from Nikita Filatov and Eric Carlson, 3-0 Sens, and that's how the game ended. Oh, that could be bad. Pittsburgh loses Sidney Crosby to injury. How long? 4 weeks. A 60-stitch facial cut. Wow. Alright, so Crosby is hurt, so that might hurt his chances of winning the scoring race again. He's going to be out for about a month. Now we're going to be hosting the New Jersey Devils here in a couple days. Brad Marchand extends his goal streak to 5 games. He had a goal against the Islanders. Zach Smith is about to feel better. Oh, memorable game for Brian Giunta, who's back from suspension not too long ago. He had 3 goals and an assist against Dallas. And Ilya Kovalchuk extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal against Tampa Bay. So Kovalchuk still playing in Winnipeg. Looks like Zach Smith is fully recovered. Alright, so we're going to be playing 2 games in 2 nights, and actually we have 4 games left here in October. So we are now hosting the Devils. They are 2-4-1, which is good for 12th in the East. It's been tough in New Jersey for the past few seasons. Oh, yeah. So in net they have Ray Emery and Cal Heater. And then on D, they have Radek Martinek, Salmela, John Merrill, Adam Larson, Mark Fain, Mike Lundin, and Yirki Yokipaka, I think is his name. Yeah, Yirki Yokipaka. Yeah, the D is struggling a little. Then up front, they have Patrice Cormier, Giunta, Whitney, Downey, Palmieri, Spilo, Giunta, Gomez, Bernier, Ellis, Chuck, McDonald, Parise, and Vermette. So I traded Antoine Vermette to New Jersey many moons ago, and he's still there. Alright. Yeah, That's not a very strong team. I hate to say that, but yeah. So Ray Emery is going to be in net for New Jersey, and we are going to Brian Elliott. And we won 3-2. We outshot New Jersey 47-17. Jason Spezza was the first star. He had 2 goals. Joe Whitney was the second star with a goal. And Pavel Datsyuk was a third star with 2 assists. 18,976 people in attendance for this game. So we took a 3-0 lead at one point in the first period. So Jason Spezza scored his 5th from Patrice Bergeron and Pavel Datsyuk. Then Alexander Radulov from Drew Doughty. And then Spezza again from Pavel Datsyuk and Eric Carlson. It was 3-0, but then New Jersey scored before the end of the period, made it 3-1 Sens after 1. And then Antoine Vermette scored in the second period, made it 3-2 Sens at that point, and that held because nobody scored in the third period. So a 3-2 win at home against the Devils. Brad Marchand extends his goal streak to 6 games with a goal against the Leafs. Alright, and now we're going to be playing in Chicago against the Blackhawks, winners of the Stanley Cup last season. Alright, so no injuries in Chicago. Colin Fraser is not in good shape, but other than that, that team is downright scary. They are better than us. So Corey Crawford and Antti Ranta in net, Jason Demers, Duncan Keith, Cam Fowler, Nicholas Hjalmarsson, Brent Seabrooks, and Jonas Holos on D. Evander Kane, Dustin Jeffrey, Brendan Perry, Joe Vitale, Teuvo Teravainen, Bolan, Kruger, Shaw, Taze, Fraser, Brower, Osa, Kane, Bouchard, and Kevin Hayes. Yeah, this is a pretty scary team. And why not? We're going to give Robin Lehner his first start in the NHL against the team that won the Stanley Cup with all those superstars on it. I don't know how it's going to go. We lost 4-1. Alright. We outshot Chicago 31-25. Teuvo Teravainen was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Evander Kane was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Brent Seabrook was the third star with a goal and an assist as well. So Chicago scored first in the first period. And then we actually tied the game in the second. Alexander Radulov scored from Shane Prince and Jared Cowan. It was tied at 1. But the Hawks would score 2 more goals. Made it 3-1 after 2. And then scored again in the third period. Made it 4-1 Chicago. And yeah, that was it. We never were in that one. Thomas Holmstrom has arrived at 1,250 games played. Didn't get a point against Washington. So, 40 years old, Thomas Holmstrom, still a 1-star player. Alright, and we are now in Columbus, playing against the Blue Jackets again. So the Blue Jackets are 5-2-1, and we are 0-1 against Columbus this season. That was our first loss of the season in the shootout. So Columbus, with their record, are 6th in the East. Alright, so Brian Elliott is going to be in net for us, and Frederick Anderson is going to be in net for the Blue Jackets. And we won 5-0. Alright. So 5-0 win there against the Blue Jacket. Oh dear God. I broke a record. Yep, I broke a record. Right there. So I outshot Columbus 51-2. So I believe the previous record was 3. And I think it was against the Islanders, I believe. So yeah, I allowed 2 shots on goal all game to the Blue Jackets. So Pavel Datsyuk was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Patrice Bergeron was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Mark Scheifele was a third star with 2 assists. So Braden Shen opened up the scoring in the first period from Drew Doughty and Mark Scheifele, and then Alex Pietrangelo from Roman Josi and TJ Brody. It was 2-0 Sens after 1. Then in the second period, Patrice Bergeron scored from Pavel Datsyuk, made it 3-0. And Alexander Radulov scored in the third from Braden Shen and Mark Scheifele, and Pavel Datsyuk from Jason Spezza and Patrice Bergeron. It was 5-0, obviously. I'm curious to see who got those 2 shots for Columbus. John Moore and Steve Montador. So not only did they only get 2 shots on goal all game, but they both came from defensemen. That means their forwards were not even able to get anywhere close to us. Wow. Oh, and apparently Rick Nash got hurt in that game, and he's going to miss 5 months due to a ruptured tricep tendon. Ouch. That probably didn't help them get some offense. Alright, and we are already down to just 1 game left in the month. So in 2 days, we're going to have the Blackhawks in town. Brad Marchand extends his goal streak to 7 games. 2 goals for Brad Marchand against the Wild. Alright, and then we have Chicago here. Of course, they beat us pretty good in Chicago, so let's see if we can get kind of a revenge here. So Chicago is now 7-2. And we are obviously 0-1 against them. So let's see here. So Corey Crawford is going to be in net for Chicago, and we're going to go with Brian Elliott. Different result. We had our starter in net this time, so we won 3-1. We outshot Chicago 41-30. Braden Shen was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Dustin Jeffrey was the second star with a goal. And Nikita Filatov was the third star with a goal and an assist. 19,630 people came to see us avenge our loss from a few days ago. So in the first period, Nikita Filatov opened up the scoring from Braden Shen and Drew Doughty. It was 1-0 Sens after 1. Then Braden Shen scored on the power play in the second period from Alexander Radulov and Jason Spezza, and then Pavel Datsyuk on the power play as well from Nikita Filatov and Patrice Bergeron. It was 3-0 at that point. Chicago did score before the end of the second period to make it 3-1, but that was it. Nobody scored in the third, nobody fought. A few penalties, and a 3-1 victory for the Ottawa Senators. Brad Marchand extends his goal streak to 8 games with a goal and an assist against Buffalo. So Brad Marchand is on a tear. Jonathan Quick will miss 4 weeks in LA. He got hurt against Pittsburgh. A bruised spinal cord. Joe Pavelski extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal against the Wild. Alright, one more click to make it in November. There we go. Okay. Oh, Patrice Bergeron was the forward of the month in the league, and then Yaroslav Halak was the goaltender of the month in Montreal. Wow, goaltender controversy in Montreal. Halak seems to be the starter over Carey Price. The fans are not gonna like that. The Montreal fans, that is. Alright, so that leaves us, after the month of October 2013, in 4th place in the East. Boston is really rocking to start. They are first in the East. The Islanders are doing pretty good as well. So that's nice. We're seeing a couple new teams near the top and everything. Of course, some teams have played more than others. Boston played more games than anybody else, so that's kind of helping them being at the top. Then let's see in the West, see if we have a few surprises like that. So in the West we have... Oh, Calgary is better than Chicago and Calgary's been bad for a few years. So Calgary, Chicago, LA, Minnesota, Vancouver is doing better than they have. Nashville, Edmonton, and San Jose. And yep. Some things also don't change. The Carolina Hurricanes are yet again the worst team in the league. We'll see what their team looks like when we play against them. Well, it doesn't look like it's going to be this month. Well, maybe near the end there. Yeah. Alright. So, let's take a look at our stats with Patrice Bergeron, the best player of the month. He's not even the best player on the team, as far as points go, of course. So, we have Datsyuk with 13 points in 10 games, Spezza 12 in 10, Bergeron 11 in 10, Pietrangelo, Carlson, and Radulov with 7 points each, and then it trickles down from there. I have a few players that didn't get any points, like Jacob Silverberg, no points in 9 games. That's not good. They're gonna do better eventually, I hope. Alright, and then let's take a look in the league. So the best goal scorer in the league so far is Brad Marchand. No surprise with his goal streak going on. So Brad Marchand, 12 goals in October to lead the league. Spezza has 6, he's 10th. And then for the assists, Getzlaf is first with 12. Datsyuk is second with 10. So for the point lead, there's a triple tie at the top. Brad Marchand, Louis Eriksson, and Thomas Plekanec all have 14 points to lead the league after 1 month. Datsyuk is 5th with 13. Alright, so we are looking pretty good so far. Pretty good start to the month, but nothing compared to the Bruins, who's the first team we're going to face in November. So I'm going to go ahead and save the game here. And I'm going to go ahead and call this a video. So it's been a little bit of a shorter video today as well. I guess we didn't play that many games, or I just didn't extrapolate too much about things. But anyway, so I do want to thank you for tuning in, and as usual, if you've liked the video, please feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that good stuff. And until I roll this game again, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.